That'll never be whack, dude. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that guy was ahead of his time. All right, let's go back to the DJ Clientele documentary video that I saw on YouTube. And shout out to Hip Hop Stories. Make sure you guys go over there and show them some love. Tell them Lonzo Williams and Dusty Vision sent you. It was also said in the documentary that Clientele was inspired by none other than DJ YELLA. Now take yourself back to that time, Lonzo. In not even knowing DJ YELLA, but in a city full of DJs, probably hundreds of DJs at that time, what made DJ YELLA stand out? What made him special?
YELLA was the first guy on the West Coast that was scratching. YELLA learned to scratch from Davey DMX, which is Curtis Blow's DJ. We brought, I brought Curtis Blow and Davey DMX to LA to do our Christmas party at Eve After Dark. Yeah, YELLA, Davey DMX took his turntable, set up in the DJ booth, and taught YELLA how to do what he do. And that probably was one of the, plus YELLA was YELLA was YELLA. YELLA was a son of a gun back in the day, man. He was on some shit that he was on some high yellow Hugh Hefner slash super DJ shit, okay? And I always call Roger out, Roger Clayton from Uncle Jam's Army. I would call him out. I mean, I put my boy YELLA, get your boy Egypt any day of the week. How much you got? He never took me up on it. Never would take me up on it. Never would take me up on it. Okay? Never. All right. And YELLA's one of them cats. He's a real loyal dude too, man. He hung posters. I mean, he was like my best utility guy I ever had when it came to Eve After Dark. Cause he'd DJ, go out and do a party. I'd give him the keys to my truck. He'd go do a house noon dance or a homecoming dance, hang posters during the week. He was a hustler, you know. And then he DJ on Friday and Saturday night and spend all his money in motels all throughout the week. I shouldn't have said that. His wife gonna kill him. Anyway, yeah, he is a different kind of dude. And he would never spend any money on anything digital. He kept all those phone numbers on a bunch of business cards. He'd get business cards. He'd go to somebody's business and grab a bunch of business cards, especially if they was white, and he would just write numbers on the back of them and put a rubber band around and put them in his pocket. He never had a phone book. That's how that he just in the last few years started using his digital toys to keep track of shit. Okay?
Yeah. The video about Clientele also states that the unknown DJ, someone you know very, very well as well, pioneer in this West Coast hip hop game who doesn't get mentioned enough. But the video states that the unknown DJ started mentoring Clientele and Dre at that time on professional production, along with Donovan Smith, the studio engineer at Audio Achievements. Can you take us back to those days? Give us an idea of Audio Achievements and also about Donovan Smith. And is that true? Do you remember Unknown mentoring Clientele and Dre?
I remember Clientele worked with Dre after he left the crew. They had he did a couple of songs with him. I think it was 2030. I think Clientele ended up on YELLA's on Unknown's label for a while after he left the crew. I don't recall him doing a lot of stuff with well, maybe in the studio, maybe doing the World Class album. When we did the World Class album, everybody was kind of skittish. We'd never been around that many buttons before in our lives. We first did the album. Donovan had a 24-track studio. He had a 24-track recorder, but he had 3 8-track mixers that weren't all together. So you couldn't really record everything at one time. You could record 8 things at one time. And it wasn't until we did our second album, he bought a Trident mixer and was able to actually go on there and do some real recording. I can't speak on that with Doc. I know Clientele and Dre was cool. They all around the same age, or Clientele's a little bit younger. And but yeah, I could sit here and lie. I ain't gonna do that. But yeah, I wouldn't put it past him. I ain't gonna say it's not true. I just can't verify it.
What can you tell us about Donovan Smith and Audio Achievements?
The dirt bike Donovan, craziest
Dirt
son of a
Bike
gun.
Donovan.
The dirt bike Donovan, one of the craziest, coolest white boys you ever want to meet. Big old dude, big dude. Donovan got to be about 6'4", 6'5". What? I think he's like 6'5". Always cool. Always. Me and Donovan hung out 2 years ago. I hadn't seen him in decades, and he lives in Hawaii now. And we were all hanging out at the NAMM show, and we just walked around and just talked about all the old shit, man. That the shit that we did. And he credits me with everything because he knows that I'm the one that brought everybody to him. Okay, Donovan just built his studio in Torrance, and somebody that I met took me over there to just meet Donovan. And from that point on, I pretty much changed Donovan's whole business plan because we started doing everything over there. And by me doing stuff over there, everybody followed me. And he's still very super cool with me when it comes to his introduction to hip hop. And after a while, after studios started getting more digital, he just left the business alone completely and started doing some other stuff. But he's a super techie dude, man. Super techie, super tech. Him and Arabian Prince would give me a headache talking about tech shit. I mean, man, I ain't gonna do all that shit. I mean, they're into the details of all things tech, whether it be audio, video, sound, various hertz and megahertz, and man, I don't do all that shit. So, excuse me. Donovan's very smart dude, and he handled his business, man.
Now, when you walk into a studio like Audio Achievements back in 1984, 1985, what would you see? Give us an idea. Break it down for us. As soon as you walk in the door, what are we visually seeing?
When you walk into a studio like Audio Achievements was, the first thing you realize, first of all, you step up into the studio. You're at the door, big, heavy door, big, thick door. You walk to the door and you step up to like a small platform. When that door closes, you hear nothing else. But only thing you hear is what's happening in that room. The outside world no longer exists. There's no windows. There's no. In fact, there's double doors because you walk into Audio Achievements, then you walk into the studio. There's a small lobby, then you walk to the studio, and then you walk to the studio, and there's huge long mixing board. All you see is knobs and lights, and there's a 24-track recorder with a 2-inch tape in the background. And then on the side of the mixer, you see nothing but rack gear. I mean, just layers and layers of different effects. You got on the walls, there is like baffles around the walls to keep all the sound stuff away. And there's a small desk next to the recorder where you keep all your editing material, which means you got your swabs and your hair cleaning material, you got your razor blades, you got your editing tape, and you got an editing block on the top of the head cover for your for the recorder, and there's a white grease pen, and that's how we edited it back. That's how you edited it back in the day. I never did this shit. You had to cut it with a razor blade. And it was 2 different types of cuts you could have. You could have a slanted cut, or you can have a straight cut, depending on what your effect was. Usually the straight cut was done when you wanted to end the tape and go straight to your the white tape, or put space between 2 songs. You would use a straight cut and put white tape, maybe a minute of white tape. No, about 30 seconds of white tape between the 2 songs. The angle tape would be for when you want to splice 2 songs together. So that way they would kind of overlap a little bit. Oh yeah, it was a different situation, man. And there was a big room, big window, and then went outside the window. That's where the main room was, as far as your instruments and the vocals would be done. And again, there's no windows. When you walk in there, you can scream, nobody can hear you. You can commit a murder, nobody would hear you. And up top, Donovan's speakers, when we first got there, you couldn't see them. They were covered in the walls. But later on, he got some big ass club speakers for Dre, because Dre liked that shit just too goddamn loud.
Damn.
And yeah, that's what it was.